What is up, YouTube? You're watching Tabletop Dad, and this is 10-Minute Techs. Now, I recently had a request from a subscriber to do this deck tech, so the Renfro 89, this one is for you. Tonight, we're going to be going over an unbudget Scarab God Zombie Tribal deck. I will walk you through the deck, walk you through the cards. Let me know what you think of it. Leave a comment down below if you have one of these decks, how you built it. Don't forget to give us a like and subscribe. Click the bell icon so you can get notifications of our future content. We release at least 3 videos each week relating to tabletop games here on Tabletop Dad. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is my most expensive deck, coming in right between the $700 to $800 mark, depending on which pricing site you use, whether or not you get heavily played cards or lightly played or near mint. And honestly, it can still be slightly upgraded with the few cards that I'm currently running in my other decks, like Ancient Tomb and Damnation. And then there are a few others that I could possibly throw in here as well. Now, I'm still working on putting together my Commander binder, which allows me to swap cards in and out of decks that I only have a few copies of, you know, the more expensive staples. Once I do get that put together, I plan on airing a video of that, basically doing a tech on how to easily swap cards in and out of your Commander decks to maintain a moderate budget while playing Commander. So even though this is missing a few cards that I'm currently running in other decks, it still comes in a power level 8. So it is a very competitive deck. Not on the level of EDH, of course, but definitely will win some games. And it is all based around the Scarab God. The Scarab God is from Hour of Devastation. He is 3 generic mana, a blue and a black. Legendary creature god. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses X life and you scry X, where X is the number of zombies you control. Also has an activated ability for 2 colorless, a blue and a black. Exile target creature card from a graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 4/4 black zombie. And it also has, when the Scarab God dies, return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. Very powerful commander. Like I said in the opening, this is a zombie tribal build. Even though this is a zombie tribal based deck, we still do want to take advantage of the Scarab God's ability. So we will be milling stuff, killing stuff, and reanimating stuff. And I'm going to show you how we do that right now. Okay, the deck breakdown's pretty standard for a more powerful deck. You want to get your commander out as soon as possible. So we're going to be relying on spells to do that. And we are only running 34 lands, 4 of which are fetch lands. We've got one of the Shadowlands, one of the Pathways, Darkwater Catacombs, Drowned Catacomb, Morphic Pool, Sunken Hollow, Tainted Isle, Underground River, Underground Sea, Creeping Tar Pit, Demir Aqueduct, Fetid Pools, both vivid lands in our colors, a Command Tower, Cavern of Souls naming zombie, Phyrexian Tower, Unclaimed territory to name zombie. A Westvale Abbey. Terrain generator for a little bit of ramp. Reliquary Tower. Gyreach Sanitarium. Darksteel Citadel. Ghost Quarter. And to round it out, we've got 4 swamps. And 2 islands. Now, one of the reasons we can run only 34 lands is we're also running 3 of the new MDFCs in Jawari Disruption, which is a counterspell unless its controller pays 1. Palaka Predation, which is target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a card from it with converted mana cost 3 or greater. That player discards that card. And Hagra Mauling. This spell costs 1 less to cast. If an opponent controls no basic lands, destroy target creature. So these 3 are spells, but on the back side you can play them as a tapped black source for these 2 or blue source for this one. So theoretically our land count is 37. With that, we're also running 10 ramp artifacts. Starting with Sol Ring, Wayfarer's Bauble, Springleaf Drum, Mind Stone, Arcane Signet, Dimir Signet, Talisman of Dominance, Cold Steel Heart, Bantu's Monument, which also help drain our opponents when we play creature spells, which this deck runs quite a few zombies, and Ashnod's Altar. To round it out, we also have a few utility artifacts in Switfoot Boots, Illusionist Bracers, Vanquisher's Banner, and Coat of Arms. Now on to our spells. We start this deck off with a few Planeswalkers, Liliana of the Dark Realms, Tezzeret the Schemer. They both act as a little bit of ramp and or creature removal for the most part. If you are lucky enough to get to their ultimates, they can impact the game. And then we also have Liliana Death's Majesty. Creates more zombie tokens and also acts as some graveyard recursion. Next we'll move on to our enchantments. We've got Animate Dead, Dreadhorde Invasion to make some zombies, Attrition for some removal, Endless Ranks of the Dead to make more zombies, and Dictate of Erebos. So those are our 5 enchantments that we're running in this deck. We are running 6 instants. Dizzy Spell, which also has a transmute ability for 1 colorless and 2 blue. We can discard it and search our library for a card with converted mana cost 1. Shred Memory, 1 and a black. Also has transmute for 1 and 2 black. And we can discard that and search our library for a 2 mana card. Cyclonic Rift for some mass bounce. Counterspell. Lazotep Plating for some protection. Factor Fiction for card draw. Reanimate. Feed the Swarm for some creature and or enchantment removal. A little creature board wipe and Bantu Last Reckoning. Whispering Madness, basically a wheel. Each player discards his or her hand, then draws cards equal to the greatest number of cards a player discarded this way. Distant Melody, more card draw. Obviously the creature type we're going to choose is zombie when we have enough of them out on the battlefield. Urza's Guilt. Each player draws 2 cards, then discards 3 cards from his or her hand, then loses 4 life. Dread Summons, X colorless, a black and a black. Each player puts the top X cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. For each creature card put into a graveyard this way, you put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield tapped. And we're rounding it out with Dark Salvation. X colorless, and a black. Target player puts X 2/2 black zombie creature tokens onto the battlefield. Then up to 1 target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn for each zombie that player controls. So that can be a good removal spell in our deck. And to round it out, we're running 26 creatures. Starting off the 1-drop spot with Cryptbreaker. We've got a 2-drop in Relentless Dead, Undead Augur. Moving on to the 3 drops, we're running a Diregriff Colossus, a Plague Belcher, Fleshbag Marauder. Then on to our Lords, we're running Lord of the Accursed, Zombie Master, Cemetery Reaper, Lord of the Undead, Death Baron, Diregraph Captain, some utility zombies. We've got Lich Lord of Unks, Dimir Doppelganger, which has an ability very similar to our Commander's ability. Phylactery Lich. We're running enough artifacts in this deck that we shouldn't have a problem maintaining its indestructibility. Undead War Chief, Risen Executioner, Corpse Augur, Gissa and Geralf, Gary, Corpse Harvester, Custody Lich to give us the Monarch, Ghoul Caller Gissa, Zadisi Undead Vizier, Havengul Lich, and to round it out, a Grave Titan. Now there are other ways you can build this deck to make it more flashy and or fun, I guess. You can run the more expensive spells. I trimmed all those spells out, only running the 1/6 drop, basically dropped the mana curve 3.08. So it's a very low mana curve zombie deck. But again, I had to drop the flashy high impact cards like Rooftop Storm and the card that makes 13 zombies when you cast it for 8 mana. Or you can cast it for 10 mana from the graveyard, flash it back, and it makes 13 more. Yeah, I mean, anymore, this game that we play, this wonderful game of Commander, everybody's lowering their mana curves and getting these games done faster and faster. So these big flashy spells, you don't have time to play anymore. So I cut them out of the deck, streamlined the deck a lot more, made it an awesome, fun and powerful deck to play, and it does win a lot of games, both with the Commander's ability and just a swarm of zombies. Let me know what you think of the deck. Let me know how you built the deck. Let me know if you can think of any other upgrades that I might have missed, other than, like I said, I really would like to rotate in an Ancient Tomb, a Damnation, also a Training Grounds would be nice. And if I was going to do that, I'd probably bring in a Basalt Monolith too, just so I could make a little bit more mana that way and swap out some of the other pieces, maybe a Lord effect here or there, but I would have to see how that would go. Like, again, let me know how you built the deck. Let me know if there's any upgrades you would put in this deck. Let me know if you have the deck. Do you already run the Scarab God? How'd you build it? Thanks for watching Tabletop Dad. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the bell icon to get future notifications of our future videos. Have fun playing your tabletop games, and God bless.